Geekazoid.
Captain Fizzman's dream has finally come true. He has taken over Geekazoid, and we just want to welcome everyone to this very special edition of Geekazoid. We'd like to thank you so much for chiming in live if you are, and if you are on the chats, definitely leave a comment below, because if you're watching this on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, you can join the conversation. All you need to do is leave a comment, and we'll read it out here, and hopefully we can display your name on the screen as well. It is a very special episode of Geekazoid because this is the 1st of September. And to let us know why it is special, we're going to bring in the Hogwarts man himself, the Hogwarts Express. Why haven't we called you that before? Captain Fizzman, welcome to Geekazoid. Welcome to the stream. What is so special about today?
So, if you aren't familiar, September 1st is the day in which all Hogwarts students, both new and returning, go back to Hogwarts. It is the start of term. It is the day where first years get sorted. It is also the time of the entrance feast and the sorting hat feast. Like, everything happens.
Yeah, beautiful. So it's funny because I say that this is the Harry Potter themed episode, but it's actually the Fizzman themed episode, which is pretty funny. And we are also joined by none other than our friend Dion. Dion is back on Geekazoid. Good to see you, buddy. How you been? How's everything going?
I've been much better this week. I'm ready to tell you guys about all the new news that we've got this week. You know, we've got some really interesting stuff to tell you guys. You know, I am not as big of a Harry Potter fan, of course, as Fizzman, but I'm just so excited to really dig deep in it today, you know, tell you guys about everything Harry Potter related as well. And like he said, like, I never knew that, you know, September 1st being like the first day back of Hogwarts and stuff. That's really cool, but I'm so keen to get back into this. Let's go.
So we were very lucky, just before we kick it over to our trending topics, but we're very lucky that Tay was able to make it to Sydney this week for an event that we attended, a Rick and Morty event that we attended. And
Tay's in the chat.
Tay's in the chat. Tay says,
hey,
sad
Tay.
that I can't join tonight, watching in the car on the way home from the airport. And Tay was meant to land in Melbourne this morning, but her flight got delayed and then delayed and then delayed. So I know that she is really upset that she can't make today's because of it being Harry Potter themed. And our big talking discussion today is, what is the greatest or what is the best Harry Potter film in our opinion? So if you have a Harry Potter movie of choice, let us know in the comments below. Like I said, that's going to be happening later on in the show. But Tay, we're happy that you've landed. We will miss you on the stream tonight, but we cannot wait to hear from you a little bit later on. Feel free to chat to us in the chat. But we can't wait to have you back next week. All right, gentlemen, are we ready to kick it over to our trending topics?
Let's do it.
Yes, 100%.
It's not as big as what it has been in the past, but I think we're on top of this. So let's kick it over to my favorite section, trending topics. And it is fitted and fitting that we kick off our trending topics with something that is Harry Potter related, or the Wizarding World related. Captain Fizzman, do you want to take it away and tell us there is another update for the Hogwarts Legacy game?
Let's go.
Yeah, surprisingly, there is another update for the Hogwarts Legacy game. The Hogwarts Legacy account has been slowly releasing new footage, like bits and pieces of the game, and we actually finally like not too long ago, got our first look on how decision making comes into play. So you actually have three different options that you can choose from. This is specifically with the Cruciatus Curse as to whether you want to learn it, or if you don't want to, or if you want it used against you. So it's tying in with the whole dark arts theme that we got last week and the week before at Gamescom. So with the newest look at the game and the newest game trailer featuring heavily focusing on the dark arts, we actually have this decision making clip, no audio, because I feel like there is some really special audio that they're trying to keep secret as much as they can. But I'm excited because it shows that decision making does come into play when it comes to choosing whether you stay on the side of good or whether you stay where you decide to go and follow the dark path.
This is wicked. I'm just looking at this footage here, Fizzman. Can you just talk us through what is happening?
So this is well, it starts out with a bird's eye view, and then it kind of goes in more into a close up of I assume the way you learn spells that you would go to the direction. So, for example, as we see, the character is walking towards something that's crucial, maybe like a chest or like a spell book, and that is how we would learn new spells and pick up new abilities in terms of like what magic we can use. So it's very interesting. It still is playing on the whole dark arts element, but it's really cool to actually see all this footage, and it just makes me so hyped for the game. I cannot wait. February 10th. I absolutely cannot wait for this. I'm actually making preparations, so when I do get my 72 hours early access, I can just play it nonstop and I won't be disturbed. And I can just play the whole game, and then by the time we finish, maybe I'll finish by the time we do a Geekazoid episode, I can actually give you my full-on first thoughts about the game.
That would be great. Out of curiosity, does that 72 hours cross over with when we do our Geekazoid shows on Thursday? So does that mean
February 10th is a Friday, and 72 hours is 3 days. So it can't. So we'll get it probably on the Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Okay, so
or even Monday.
So does that mean you're NAing that Thursday so you can get as much time as possible, or would you happen to have maybe like an hour set aside, or even if
no. I'll make the time to jump into Geekazoid and do the stuff. I really love being on Geekazoid, so I will take time out of my busy schedule playing Hogwarts Legacy to to give you the update on what I think about Hogwarts Legacy.
I was gonna say I kind of like it. How cool it's like a choose your own story type of game. I never knew that. Like that's gonna be quite interesting how that plays out.
Yeah,
it is going to be really interesting, and I wonder, like you said before, Fizz, is there a reason why they're leaving out audio? And I'm assuming the characters talk and all that sort of stuff, and you can maybe choose the type of.
So I do think that I feel like it's very similar. If you have played Saints Row and like games very similar to it, you can actually choose like your pitch and the audio in which how your character speaks. So it's definitely leaving that up to the imagination, because it's wanting you to put yourself in the character. It's giving you that much freedom in terms of character creation and customization that they're purposefully not having the audio from the game, like not even music from the game. I feel like they're working on a score, and it just is going to be music to my ears.
Yeah,
pun intended.
I can imagine what that score is going to sound like. That is intense. Okay, let's leave it there. We are going to come back to some Harry Potter stuff a little bit later on.
I mean, we're not done, but it's fine. There's more Hogwarts Legacy stuff.
Oh, go, talk then.
Yes.
Sorry.
PlayStation fans, I am so jealous of you right now, because there is a PlayStation exclusive quest, and this wasn't featured anywhere. It's actually was translated from the German listing, and it's called the Hogsmeade Haunted Shop. That is from the Amazon Germany listing for the actual game, and it's exclusive just for PlayStation users. So if you're a PS4 or PS5 player, I hate you both so much. Like when I put this in the Discord, I was like, I had so many angry emojis because I am not happy at all. Like, okay, with Sony and Spider-Man, I totally get it because Sony has the rights to it. But this is Harry Potter. This is the Wizarding World. This is Warner Brothers. Like there aren't like Warner Brothers isn't owned by Sony. Okay, there is no need for exclusivity on console. Also, the fact that PlayStation users get the recipe for Felix Felicis, which, if you're familiar with Harry Potter canon, takes about 6 months to brew, and it's probably the hardest potion to brew ever. I am trying to get a PS5. It just needs to come into stock.
Fizzman
Five
Sony.
minutes later.
I'm like, if I have to, I mean, I'm happy getting a standard edition or the deluxe edition of the game as like a digital version because I already got the collector's edition for Xbox, so I already have the book and the wand and all of that stuff. I just hate that they have exclusive stuff on the PlayStation. Why? It doesn't make sense at all.
Well, I guess from a business point of view, I wouldn't be surprised if Sony have paid them a lot of money to get some exclusive content. But then in saying that, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Xbox might have a separate site. Like I know it's not announced
Their own
now and all
exclusive
that
content,
sort of
yeah.
Yeah, they might have
Exactly.
something else.
If they do, I'll be happy. But also, like for PlayStation users, on the DualSense controller, you actually get your house colors when you play them. So like that should have been exclusive
Oh.
enough. So yeah, so with the PlayStation 5, the way the controller lights up will be based on your house colors when you actually
Oh.
That is
play
pretty
it.
cool.
That is very cool.
I know,
Wait.
it's like,
What a
should I
time
get
to
a
own a
PlayStation?
PlayStation.
You
Yeah.
should. Great
Okay.
investment, I reckon.
Look, Fizzman, I'm just going to put it out there. If you are the Harry Potter fan that you say you are, you'll get...
Are you really calling me out here, Jaden?
No, I know you are a massive fan, and I wouldn't put it past you if you're like next week. Hey, I managed to get a PS5, so I'm all sweet. I wouldn't put it past you. All right, are we okay to move on?
Yes,
Fizzman?
we're okay. We'll continue.
Awesome. All right. So Dion, man, tell me, you when I heard this news, I thought of you immediately. So tell me what is happening.
I was so hyped when I heard this news. So with the director, this isn't something that I was either surprised about or entirely hyped about. This isn't the hype part. This is just like, oh, this is interesting. You know, we've got Matt Shackman going to be supposedly in talks to direct the Fantastic Four movie, which is quite exciting because, you know, WandaVision had good reviews all around, right? So this is going to be quite kind of an exciting kind of creative approach from his side, like how he will kind of execute Fantastic Four coming into the MCU as well. I just feel like with the way he directs, it's not going to be characters that have an origin story. They're already going to be in the MCU, so it's going to be more so like all characters that have already had that kind of character development. And they're already at their kind of primish kind of state when they do enter the MCU. And speaking of which, in the Fantastic Four, we've also got news. Again, this is rumors, so this is just speculated rumors. But Penn Badgley, which is the antagonist, I don't know what you'd call him, in the TV show You, he's rumored to play Reed Richards, which I personally think is a perfect choice.
Yeah.
Just his charisma, his personality, his look, everything. It would be perfect. This is like one of those things that are very rare that you think of a completely new character. Usually it's like, ooh, like it's a bit iffy, but he'd definitely master it. I can definitely see him doing a really good job for a younger Fantastic Reed Richards in Fantastic Four. Because I think John Krasinski is more that older kind of look, but
Yes.
he would do the young look justice, I reckon.
Have you heard something? So Dion, I only just found out about this today, and it is very much a rumor. But apparently there was a post-credit scene that was cut from Multiverse of Madness.
Yes, I heard about that. Yeah,
Reed Richards from another universe.
Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
So
A
I
different
heard about,
universe, was it?
yeah, I don't know if they mentioned
Oh.
who the actor would be from this other universe that's playing this
Okay.
other Reed Richards. But I definitely did hear about that deleted scene. I think it was too much to just kind of chuck at once for us in the Multiverse of Madness. We already had like jam-packed kind of all these cameos. So I feel like
Yes.
they're kind of waiting to they're really building it up, you know, having them kind of be a mystery at the moment for us to try and give our kind of fan kind of guesses of who they're going to cast as Reed Richards or Susan Storm. By the way, this isn't any rumors. This is just my own speculations and my own personal choice. Speaking of Susan Storm, I think the three best choices would be Elizabeth Lale, which is the girl protagonist in the TV show You, Amanda Seyfried, if I pronounced that right, and Lily James. So Amanda Seyfried and Lily James are both from Mamma Mia, which is like one of my favorite franchises ever. I love musicals, by the way, but they both are really good actresses. But a fun fact about Amanda Seyfried, which makes me think that she might not play Susan Storm, is she was actually asked to play Gamora when 2014's Guardians of the Galaxy came out, and she declined it because she's like, this movie's gonna bomb. I'm not gonna be in a movie with a talking tree. And look at where we are now. We've got, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy popping off in the MCU right now. So I don't think it may not be Amanda Seyfried. She's not a big superhero fan, but Elizabeth Lale, Lily James, I'm totally down for.
I'm really happy that they're going for a younger crop of actors, and I heard that they want to get 2 like A-listers to be the main, like Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm as well, and then they're looking at relatively unknowns to play Johnny and also Ben.
Does that mean I can play Johnny Storm if I audition?
Dude,
yes.
Get out there.
Yes.
Get out
Audition.
Actually, speaking of fan casting, Melissa Benoist has also been fan casted to play Sue Storm, and if you're familiar, she played Marley Rhodes in Glee, and she also played Cara Danvers in Supergirl.
Interesting. Do we know how old Amanda? I always suffer her last name as well.
Give me a minute.
Probably
give me a minute.
Late 30s, I'm assuming. 37, 38 is my guess. Let's see what Fizzman's got for us.
Let's go. And then also let's find out about Mr. Reed Richards as well. How old was it Penn?
Yeah, Angela, yeah.
Amanda is born in 1985, making her 36.
Mm-hmm.
And then Penn Badgley is 35.
Okay, so they're roughly the same age. That is surprising, and it's good because, like, when you think about it, like most of like the heroes in the MCU are quite like older, and I'm expecting them, like the Fantastic Four, to get like a couple of movies out of them. Right?
I definitely see that. Yeah,
you've got to think of like the next 10
that
years.
whole expansion.
That's right. So I guess when the actual film comes out, they will be about maybe 37, and then you got to think about in 10 years' time there will be 47 or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to think about like how much life you can get out of this, because like I guess Chadwick Boseman, bless him and God rest his soul, he was about 40 or 41 when he was cast as the King of Wakanda, the Black Panther. So
absolutely. Speaking on that point though, I don't know if you guys knew, but Robert Downey Jr. was about 41 when he played Iron Man in Iron Man 1. So it's like, you can have actors that are they're quite old in age, but they still look young at heart. Like, Chadwick Boseman or RDJ. It's possible it can happen, but also on the point of, we do have that whole character development field in the MCU. How long they're going to be playing that character for? And if they're, not going to ruin what their character is age-wise if they get too old.
Well, Ioan Gruffudd, who originally played Mr. Fantastic, and Jessica Alba. So Ioan Gruffudd was about 30 when he played Mr. Fantastic, and Jessica Alba was about 23, 24 when she filmed as Sue Storm.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
How interesting.
Okay.
I just love how they made her like a blonde in that movie.
Sorry, what was that, D?
I
love how they made her a blonde in that movie. Like, I thought that was quite impossible, but she low-key pulled it off. Jessica Alba.
As Jessica Alba was at like the prime of like her like hype, like everyone loved her. I think she was on what was the TV show she was on? Was it Dark Angel or
Dark Angel?
Yeah, and then she was also like
Honey,
Into the Blue, Honey. There was like a surfer movie that she was in as well that I can't.
God, hold on, give me a minute.
Blue Crush. Blue Crush.
I think it was Blue Crush.
It was like with Paul Walker or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway. While you're looking for that, Fizz man, I'm going to kick it over to my
Into the Blue.
Topic. Into the Blue. I thought it was Into the Blue. All right.
Well, we're on the right track with the blue.
Yeah. I just remember.
Seconds, I don't know if anything happened, but I'm back.
And D, you're back at the perfect time, because now we're going to be talking about DC Films want Dan Lin as their Kevin.
Yes.
And which Kevin are we talking about? Not Kevin Costner, not Kevin from Home Alone or Home Alone 2. We're talking about Kevin Feige, the man who has made the MCU what it is, and he is the brains behind the madness. And did you know that Kevin Feige is actually a massive Star Wars fan.
Really?
Apparently his knowledge for like everything all in the Star Wars universe is like a lot bigger than his knowledge of Marvel, and his Marvel knowledge is insane. But apparently, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
it's crazy. But anyway, on the screen that you see now, this is Dan Lin. You may not know who he is, but he's actually quite a well accomplished producer. He's always been working behind the scenes in a lot of movies. He was a producer or let me say this again, a development exclusive director of The Departed. He's also been involved in the Sherlock Holmes franchise, the Lego Movie, Gangster Squad, Death Note. I'm assuming that's the Netflix series.
Yeah, the movie.
The Lego Ninjago movie. So it looks like a lot of the Lego movies he's been involved in. Executive producer for Godzilla, Kings of Monsters, Aladdin, Chapter 2 of It, The Two Popes, Godzilla vs. Kong, Haunted Mansion, Aladdin 2 is what he's currently working on at the moment. Lilo and Stitch is listed here. I wonder if that is a live action Lilo and Stitch. And the list goes on. So who knows what's going to happen with those future movies, because Warner Brothers is eyeing him off to be the DC's producer, the overlord of everything happening in terms of the DC films. And we've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks now in regards to the state of what is happening in the DC EU. We've heard a whole bunch of things, but at the moment, the biggest thing, it's not official, it's not 100%, but the rumors are that Warner Brothers is eyeing off Dan Lin to head their studio. I mean, it was Fizzman, you're gonna have to look this up because I'm drawing a blank on this fella here. But he is the current overlord of what's happening over at DC Films.
The current Kevin Feige, right?
He's the current Kevin Feige. It's why
Walter
am I drawing up? Thank you. It's Walter Hamada. Thank you so much. Apparently, he is going to be finishing up once Black Adam has been released. Apparently, he wanted to leave a little bit early. We mentioned this before, but it looks like he's going to be leaving after Black Adam. And then I would assume that after that, then officially they will announce Dan Lin as the Mega Lord.
I don't know if you heard that rumor about Dan Lin that's kind of circulating recently, but he was in an interview and they kind of just addressed the Snyderverse, released a Snyder Cut for when they did that for Justice League, and he kind of made a little bit of a joke about that. He's like, "Oh, the bots," and then he got a lot of backlash from a lot of Snyder fans. Like they were bombarding him at once. So it's like it's going to be interesting. He's transitioned into becoming that kind of Kevin Feige of DC.
Well, there's been a couple of rumors, I guess you would have to call them, in talks of like Warner Bros. Discovery are talking about bringing Henry Cavill and also Ben Affleck back, and that they want them to be their Superman and their Batman moving forward for the next 10 years, which is unreal. I'm so happy that Batfleck, if he comes back, but it looks like Aquaman and all that are going to be having him in there. Abdullah agrees with you. I agree with King, so there you go. And then also, I noticed as well during the week, it may have been yesterday I noticed it, but it looks like Warner Discovery said that they weren't happy with the decision of Warner Bros. Releasing the Snyder Cut because it sort of undermined their push, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we got this," and everyone loved the Zack Snyder's version, and then they're pushing their mainstream movies, and it wasn't getting as much praise. So they're just like, "I don't think that was a good decision that you guys did that." So that's why I guess Discovery are trying to really get a grip of what is happening for the next 10 years, and good on them. Would you like to add anything to that, D or Fizz? Maybe D. Anything you want to? I'll go for it, Fizz.
I think they're trying to still release the Batgirl movie, because DC and Warner Bros. Has the plan to use the Batgirl film as a tax write-off. But then apparently it might be illegal for them to do it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure either. I'm not too strong on these details. It was something I just skimmed past. But
honestly, I feel like there might be a campaign. There might be a campaign that fans start to just get that Batgirl movie out, just like the Snyder Cut. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
But then in saying that, how I was saying before about that Discovery were not impressed with the decision of releasing the Snyder Cut. do you think they're going to have the same approach with Batgirl? And I know it's already in the can and all that sort of stuff, but if they're trying to rewrite and try and change the course of what is happening with the DC films, it might be a bad play for them to just drop it. It's drop it as in make it public for everyone to view. So who knows? Who knows? I mean, a lot of people are saying that there might not be a DC fandom this year. I have no idea. I mean, I was involved with it for the past 2 years, but who knows? Tal just chimes in and says the Justice League was their biggest mistake in the first place, and I guess that's because that it was a darker tone.
I would disagree, Tal, with
Why
the
is that,
Justice
Fizz?
League. I don't know. I actually really enjoyed Joss Whedon's take on the Justice League. Like, I felt it was very different to how DC films have been in the past, and I guess it's because it was lighter, so it wasn't as dark in terms of color grading and everything as has it been. But I actually really enjoyed it. I couldn't get through the Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut was far too long for me.
Oh, I've watched it
I kind of like
multiple
this
times.
kind of like. I like the fact I haven't heard anyone say they've liked Josh Whedon's cut before, so it's quite interesting to hear your side of it.
I had no issue with it. It's the same with the Suicide Squad. Like, I actually really enjoyed the first one, not the Ayers cut or whatever they want to call it, but the one that was released in the films, I actually had no issues with it. I really enjoyed it, and I felt like it was it was good for like your casual audience, but like for your hardcore DC fans, that's when people would have an issue. But like for like your average moviegoer, I feel like that it's an enjoyable movie.
Look,
how did you feel about Henry? Sorry, you
go for it. No, I was just gonna say I didn't mind the Justice League one either. I think it was just a totally different tone and very jarring compared to Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and then when you get to the even Wonder Woman as well, and then when you get to the Justice League, and it's sort of like maybe sexualized Wonder Woman a little bit, and then also the humor that Batman was doing, and you're just like, this is really very different. I mean, I thought it was fine. But like fine as in like I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was, and I loved the fact that the Flash was on the screen. I love the fact that we got to see Cyborg, and we got to see that whole like the Atlanteans, and then Themyscira, all the Amazons coming out. I enjoyed it.
There's
for
definitely some good points
building.
in it. 100%, there was some good points in it, but the biggest off point for me in that the Josh Whedon cut is Henry Cavill's CGI mustache. Like, what was that? That was atrocious.
But I guess the flip side of it is like, what do you do? Do you just have? I know everyone's like, you should have just had him with a mustache, but it's just like
look like Omni-Man, honestly.
Yeah, but you can't do that because then everyone would be like, oh, they're lazy, they should have done this, and it's just like you can't win. And then I guess in terms of the success that the Marvel films were getting at the time, and I guess that Warner Brothers wanted that money as well. So, and I don't blame them. It just I don't know. It's hard. I wouldn't want to be the person making the calls because it is a hard decision. D, any last takes before we leave it there and we move on with some trivia questions? Is there anything else you want to add to that?
I'm just hyped to see Henry Cavill come back. Like, I think his role as Superman is perfect, and that's something I'm really excited for. Look, Ben Affleck, I'm rooting for, but he's not like my go-to favorite Batman ever. But Henry Cavill, though, perfect Superman. I'm so keen for that.
Have you seen that fans have been casting him in the MCU as Captain Britain? Have you seen these?
I heard that. That's definitely as soon as Kevin Feige steals Henry Cavill, it's just endgame for DC. Like, he was stealing your character now. What do you do, DC?
Funny thing you mentioned that. Apparently Henry Cavill is rumored to be in Loki season 2.
What?
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
what? I did not see that coming.
That got dropped today.
So what? Did someone spot?
It's still a rumor, but apparently they're eyeing him to be in Loki season 2.
It's cool. I feel like Henry, like we've seen videos of him like building his PC, and he's involved in like so many cool like nerdy culture sort of films and stuff like that.
Honestly,
but it just seems like he's just a fan, and he's just like, hell yeah, I'll be in the Marvel MCU, and yeah, hell yeah, I'm going to be in the DC, and yeah, I'm going to be in The Witcher, and yeah, I build PCs. Like, he just seems like it's just so cool to have someone like him represent the geeky culture. Before we chime off, I just want to get in here. Tao says the first Suicide Squad I personally enjoyed too. I enjoyed that as well. Definitely go rewatch the trailer, the very first trailer for the Suicide Squad. Watch it. It had Queen, the underscore, like
the soundtrack is Chef's Kiss for the first Suicide Squad.
And I think everyone was like, "What is this movie about?" And then I guess when they saw the movie, it was just a little bit of a different tone.
If you guys didn't know, the reason why I got a lot of backlash as well is because the trailer was so good that they got the I don't know what they call them, the creator of the trailer to edit the movie as well. So the movie at some points felt like a trailer with the kind of transitions from scenes. So that's why I got like a lot of backlash. But the trailer was amazing. The trailer was, in my opinion, sorry Fizz, but the trailer was better than the movie for me.
No, it's fine. It's all good.
But definitely go check it out. It is a really cool trailer, and it was cool because I guess Guardians of the Galaxy had their trailer, and everyone was really impressed with that. And then the movie was just, it succeeded all expectations. And then I guess when Suicide Squad came around, and there's a lot of unknowns in that film, everyone was like, no, this is a solid trailer. We're excited for this. So Abdullah chimes in the chat as well, saying that Wonder Woman will be in Shazam 2 movie. I didn't hear that, but that would be cool. That would be cool. Apparently, Superman is rumored to be in Black Adam somewhere. So yeah, that would be cool as well. And then Tao just chimes in as well. Henry Cavill is also on a lot of people's fan casts as James Bond. I have heard that as well. I have also heard some other rumors as well. But, good on him. He is awesome.
So on Abdullah's point of Wonder Woman being in Shazam 2, it isn't Gal Gadot. It's someone else.
Oh.
And it was at CinemaCon in the DC panel. But it wasn't Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman.
How does that work?
Yeah,
I guess like a different.
We got a multiverse in DC now.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Also, Henry Cavill is rumored to be playing Hyperion in Loki season 2.
Oh, there you go. That's sick. Abdullah says, I think it will be a post-credit, maybe in Black Adam is what he's referencing. And Fizzman, can you read this out for me?
Good morning, Geekazoid. Expelliarmus!
Yes, I knew you were going to say it a lot better than what I would. All right, we're going to leave it there for the trending topics. If you guys want to chime in on the chat at all, if we missed anything, definitely let us know. We love hearing from you. And that about wraps it for our trending topics. Now, we're going to throw it over. We're going to have a little bit of a break. We're going to throw it over to Captain Fizzman's variant because we want to know what is happening in this week's trivia. Take it away, Variant Fizzman. It looks like you're running late for something. I wonder what it is.
Very nice.
Geekazoid.
Hey guys, sorry I can't talk much, but here are your weekly trivia questions because I'm kind of late for the sorting fee. Okay, question 1. On what date do students leave to go to Hogwarts? Do you think you know it? Okay, question 2. At what time did the Hogwarts Express leave King's Cross Station? Okay, and then your final question. Who is known as the keeper of keys and grounds at Hogwarts? Those are your 3 questions. I'll be back later with the answers. I can't stick around. I'm late for the sorting fee.
Geekazoid.
Oh,
I think
Fizzman,
my variant might be hyped up on coffee or something because that was quick.
He's definitely on something. Yeah, he was quick about that.
he did not want to miss the sorting fees. There you go. Well, if you know the answers to the variant Captain Fizzman's questions, definitely let us know in the comments below. Also, while you're at it, definitely follow us on all our socials for Geekazoid Live. On Instagram, it's at Geekazoid Live, and also on Facebook, you can follow us, Geekazoid, and on YouTube as well. Your support means the world to us, and we really do appreciate it. And if you're over at Instagram, we are dropping the trivia questions there as well weekly with the answers. So if you know the answers, let us know in the questions. Sorry, let us know in the chat. We would appreciate that. And yeah, also Fizzman, we dropped something in our Instagram stories yesterday afternoon for everyone to get involved with in regards to going back to Hogwarts. Let us know how they can join in on the fun. So
to join in on the fun, if you look at our stories and then the next one, screenshot the blank slide and then fill in your answers to the questions. So it's favorite house, your Hogwarts house or favorite house, your favorite spell, favorite subject, and your favorite pet. And if you tag Geekazoid Hashtag Geekazoid, and then at Geekazoid Live, and then tag your 3 closest friends or any 3 people that you want to tag.
Yeah, definitely join in on all the fun. And also, for everyone that's tuning in live at the moment or listening to this via podcast, we are going to be doing our first giveaway next week. To find out more about that, definitely check our stories, and we'll also let you know about this a little bit more next week in the stream. All right, we are going to be talking about the greatest. What is the greatest, the best Harry Potter film ever? And I feel like mine is probably a little bit more...
This is going to be the most controversial debate with the biggest expert of Harry Potter here. This is like the encyclopedia of Harry Potter.
Oh, I brought the facts and everything, so I will just
We're gonna
wait
get
till
roasted.
wait till you get to me.
Well, that's the thing. Like, what makes it the greatest Harry Potter film? Is it the conversion from book to film? Is it like the portrayal of the characters? Is it the magic? What classify it as the greatest film, Harry Potter film of all time? And it's interesting that we all have different answers here. And I know with Fizzman, he could probably debate every single movie as to why it is the greatest film.
I'm just gonna say I had a hard time choosing which
picking.
one.
Really?
Yeah, I had a hard time. I probably changed my choice like 3 times because I like evaluated every one, and I'm like, okay, this is the one I'm going with. So just stay tuned for that.
Awesome. All right, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to kick this thing right off. The film that I have picked, I mean, I thought about the original, the classic, The Sorcerer's Stone, and I couldn't go past this one because as a kid, and also even today, this is my favorite one to rewatch. And it also, I don't really read books, but this one definitely left a lasting impression on me. I really enjoyed reading this book. I'm talking about Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. And I just remember watching this in the cinema. It had a bit of a darker tone. It also introduced a couple of characters that I really love from the franchise as well. It's just a great film. It's a little bit more mature. I mean, especially coming out of Chamber of Secrets, which was the film just before it, or the book before it. Just seeing this come to life, the time turner scene, Harry finding out about his godfather, and then finding out all. It's just such a great film. I'm really butchering this because I'm really getting distracted by what is playing on the screen here, but this is where my friend Captain Fizzman is going to chime in and help me out a little bit with what we are seeing and why you think Prisoner of Azkaban is really up there in regards to being the Harry Potter film. So help me out, Fizzman.
So you want to know what's actually happening?
Yeah.
Okay. So the plot of Harry Potter and Prisoner of Azkaban is essentially it is Harry's 3rd year. He escaped convict from the Azkaban prison, the wizard prison Azkaban, which is the hardest prison to escape. There's only 2 people who have successfully escaped the Azkaban. It is Barty Crouch Jr. and also Sirius Black. Bellatrix Lestrange and Death Eaters, they had help from the Dementors, but essentially it is Harry's in his 3rd year. This is when the films start getting to be darker. They start getting into a darker tone. So Prisoner of Azkaban is sort of when things start happening. It's really like Goblet of Fire where things take that, like where the tone just goes up into the darkness. But essentially, Sirius Black is on the lookout for Harry. Well, they think he is. But spoiler, he's actually looking for Peter Pettigrew, who is the reason why Harry's parents were murdered, because he actually told... Peter Pettigrew is the one who told Voldemort where to find it. He basically gave them up because the Wizarding World assumed that Sirius Black was the one that gave up the Potters, but it was actually Peter Pettigrew. But they don't find out because court systems and the judicial system in the Wizarding World isn't that great, and they don't know how to use Veritaserum and all that stuff. So they just assume because Sirius Black decides to go after Peter Pettigrew. So it's essentially following that whole journey. And then you also have fan favorites like Buckbeak coming to play. And this is actually
Yes.
Prisoner of Azkaban is the film where we have the change of the Dumbledore actors, because Richard Harris, who played Dumbledore in the first and second film, he died of, I think, Hodgkin's cancer.
Yes.
Rest in peace.
So Michael Gambon takes over the role, and this is where we start to get the more intense Dumbledore, and especially in Goblet of Fire, where we get the Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? Which is such the fans love mocking it, because in the books it says it calmly, but that is not calm at all. So
but I love that. I think that's great, and you make a good point there as well. And I actually totally forgot about that the Dumbledore's changed over there. We also get introduced to like a couple of new things in the Wizarding world as well. Is this the first time that we see the Dementors in a Harry Potter film?
It is the first time we see the Dementors.
We get introduced to Hermione's Time Turner.
Yep.
And I think I'm a sucker for anything that has to do with time travel. Like, I love my Back to the Future. I love what they did in Endgame as well, and anything to do with time travel. And I feel like because of the time turner in this film, I love that scene that it just reminded me of Back to the Future, where they went back and things started like interacting, and where they throw, the rock or all that sort of stuff. Like, I was just like, wow, that is cool. And I remember reading it.
It is also the film where we first get our look at the Marauders map and the introduction of the Marauders, which, if you are familiar with Harry Potter lore, it is Harry's father and his friends. So Prongs is James Potter. Mooney is Remus Lupin, who is the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher in this film. Padfoot is Sirius Black, and Wormtail is Peter Pettigrew.
So, and this is also, I know you mentioned it before, but Buckbeak as in a hippogriff, that's the first time that we are introduced to, that creature.
And also it's the first time we see Hagrid as a teacher.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's right. That scene. Oh, and then also Sirius Black. That's the first time we get to really check out Gary Oldman in all his glory. And
also Hermione punches Malfoy.
Yes. And I thought that Gary Oldman cast as Sirius was a great...
Well, so fun fact with that is that the Marauders, at that time, they're supposed to be in like their 30s, because Harry's parents die at the age of 21. And so in the 90s, which is where this is set, they're supposed to be in like their early 30s. The reason why they cast Gary Oldman, Timothy Spall, and David Thewlis as your Marauders is because of Alan Rickman. Because Alan Rickman was too old to play Snape. So they needed to, and Snape was in the year of the Marauders. So they kind of needed to match that age range. So that's the reason why they aged up the people who Harry's parents and the Marauders and all them, because of Alan Rickman.
Yeah, wow. That is really interesting. There you go. Well, Fizzman, I appreciate you chiming in and helping me out with, saying why Harry Potter, The Prisoner of Azkaban is what I think personally the greatest Harry Potter film of all time. There is a bit of like, childhood, memories that link in that with the book. I remember it being by my bed, and I read that one probably the most out of all the Harry Potter books. And then they started to get thicker, and then I struggled to read them. But I actually should really pick them up. Sorry, Fizzman, before you go on a little tangent and all that sort of stuff, how many times have you read the Harry Potter series?
It's too many to count. I think it's maybe 20 plus times.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
That is
mind
insane.
blown.
And that it's not just reading, I'm also listening to the audiobooks. So when I'm working, I'm listening to the audiobooks and picking up on new things.
New stuff.
And everything, yeah.
By the way, everybody that are listening to this, Fizzman went to a Harry Potter trivia last night, and of course, your boy, he cleaned up. He cleaned house. That was awesome. I'll get to that at the end of the show if you don't mind, Fizzman. But we're going to pass it over to Dion. Dion, your Harry Potter film of choice. What do you think is the greatest Harry Potter film of all time?
I think, in general, when it comes to any kind of film franchises, picking the greatest film of all time from that franchise can always be a bit subjective, right? I guess in my own personal humble opinion, I ever since I was a kid, I've always enjoyed Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix for multiple reasons, which I'll get into now. But starting off with just, I haven't read all the books properly, so I guess I'm not like the a proper Harry Potter fan per se, but I watched all the movies religiously as a kid since I can remember. I've been watching Prisoner of Azkaban, just to go quickly back to that one. I think I watched over 30 or 40 times just as a kid on replay as a kid, on like school holidays. I'd watch it with my siblings. It's just, I never, this is also the first Harry Potter movie I saw in cinemas, 2007, I'm pretty sure it came out. This movie, now let me get into why this is my favorite and also subjectively the best Harry Potter movie of all time. I've always been a fan of Dumbledore in the Harry Potter series, and to get to see him fighting Voldemort, which was one of the, like, I don't know how to explain it. It was like one of those feelings when I was just like, let's go. Like I just wanted to watch it over and over again. To this day, I still replay that YouTube clip on YouTube, just watching Voldemort versus Dumbledore fight. I wish it was longer. Like, I wish it was as long as the Battle of Mustafar from Star Wars. Like, that battle it just sticks in my head to this day. It's just so badass seeing Dumbledore just wipe the floor with Voldemort and to see what else he could have done before he disappeared. But that's pretty much the main reason why I love this movie so much. Another reason is just the character development with everybody, like learning, all the spells, working together to, becoming that little team under Harry Potter, which was pretty cool. And also, the really annoying but great actress, I can't remember her name.
Umbridge.
Imelda Staunton.
Is that her, the actress'
Imelda
name?
Staunton. Yeah.
So Umbridge was obviously the most annoying character ever, but also one of the best characters ever, because if she's annoying, then the actress is doing her job properly. And, it really got a lot of Harry Potter fans annoyed, but it just made it more interesting. And she made the movie really good, just being that annoying character and, trying to bust Harry Potter's little secret hideout and stuff. So this movie overall was just amazing, from the character development of each character, learning spells, learning how to defend themselves, seeing that that love interest grow with Harry as well. Overall, an awesome movie. Dumbledore, Voldemort, chef's kiss.
Fizzman, is there anything that we're missing in regards to Order of the Phoenix? I know you are the mad scientist and you are the Kevin Feige.
You have the introduction of probably one of my favorite characters, Bellatrix Lestrange.
Oh, of course.
Helena Bonham Carter in Order of the Phoenix.
Oh,
you also have, on Jaden's point with Prisoner of Azkaban introducing the Marauders, we get a more deeper look into the Marauders in Order of the Phoenix. We start seeing the Black family tree and the Noble House of Black in terms of lore and like exploration into ancestry and everything. Order of the Phoenix does it the best. It is also, we actually get a look at Lily Evans, James Potter, when they were in their prime, back in their school years. That's essentially Snape's worst memory, when Harry takes a look he essentially sees a different perspective of his dad, because he sees that his dad was a bully, and it changes his opinion of him. So he's like, no, he can't be that. Like, it doesn't make sense. That is a lot of an argument for when people are like, oh, James Potter was a bully. Yes, that is one of the main things, but I could talk forever as how much I hate Snape so much. I have a whole PowerPoint presentation. I'm not kidding with that.
Battle, so good.
But also what we have is, and Order of the Phoenix is my absolute favorite book in the Harry Potter series. Okay. All 870 pages. I have read that. Originally,
is there a reason why it's the longest book? Is there a reason why it's the thickest one?
Because there is so much to cover. Like, you have Dumbledore's army, you've got the room requirement, you've got all of like this backstory as to why certain things are happening. You've also it is the longest book because there is like so much content to go to. We also get another look at the Centaurs. Like, what Order of the Phoenix does, it actually builds up on what we already know about the wizarding world and just expands it. And my favorite character in the Harry Potter series ever is Frank Longbottom, and he is mentioned once. He only gets like 10 seconds of screen time, but I don't care, okay? He is still screen time.
Yeah, that's mad. This is also the first time we get to see Mad Eye Moody, right? This is his first...
Goblet of Fire is when we first get to see Mad Eye
Moody, but we see him played as Barty Crouch Jr.
But this is when we actually see Mad Eye Moody as Mad-Eye
him.
Moody. And we
Yes.
see the Order of the Phoenix, the introduction of the Order of the Phoenix. So we get.
Can we talk about how like badass
Nymphadora
that opening
Tonks.
scene was for like not the opening scene because that was with Dudley, but like the opening scene of the Order of the Phoenix when they all come in and like save Harry, like that was
The
that was
advanced
so
guard,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, the music and everything, it was pretty cool.
That
I also
is
cried
cool.
when Sirius.
But it is also, it's when Sirius. Actually, okay, so everyone says Bellatrix Lestrange killed Sirius. She did not kill Sirius, okay? The way it happens in the book, which is how it is in canon, it is. Sorry, it's the veil that kills Sirius. Because what Bellatrix doesn't cast any killing curse. She just casts like probably stupefy. Because it says specifically a flash of red light. It isn't actually a flash of green light that kills Sirius. It's a flash of red light. Fun fact, when they were filming it, when Sirius dies, Dan Radcliffe's scream was so agonizing and painful that they literally had to mute it. That is why when you watch the film, you can't actually hear Dan Radcliffe, Harry screaming because it was so agonizing that everyone started to tear up.
You're giving me chills, Fizz,
Oh,
man.
man.
And they're multiplying. Wow. That's wow. I cannot wait to rewatch the Harry Potter film. Is that English? Sorry, just touching on Mad-Eye Moody just really quickly. Brendan Gleeson is the actor. And I just finally, for the first time, watched Gangs of New York with Daniel Day-Lewis, Leonardo DiCaprio, Cameron Diaz, and the actor of Mad-Eye Moody, he was in that, and I was like, I recognize this guy from somewhere, and I couldn't picture it. And this film came out in 2002, and I was like, no way, that's Mad-Eye Moody.
Wait, Gangs of New York came out in 2002?
Yes.
Okay, I was about to say, Order of the Phoenix came out in 2007.
So there you go. So he was a little bit younger than what we see him in the film, but obviously he's got his whole makeup and his whole look going. But Dion, before we leave it there, anything else you want to add to this? I actually don't mind Order of the Phoenix. I remember going to the cinemas to see it, and I remember the filming style was very different to the previous films as well. And it was a little bit jarring. Was this the one where they had like the black? Like the white that goes into black. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The white that goes into black. Oh, I think I know what you're trying to.
Oh no! About. Unless that is.
Are you talking about the Warner Brothers, the logo where it?
No, I'll have to look at it and then I'll have to share it in my stories what I'm talking about. But now that I say it, it actually could be Prisoner.
There was one of those movies that started with. Yeah, like at the beginning of the movie when he's doing that curse under like his bed sheets and it's like it starts getting luminous and then goes dark. You talking about that?
Yeah. No, I'll try and find what I'm talking about, but I think I'm actually getting my Harry Potters confused. All right.
I was gonna mention real quick just regarding Mad-Eye Moody, the actor that played him in Goblet of Fire is like literally my favorite actor ever, David Tennant. And like I don't know what you guys, I guess, take is on his portrayal of him in Goblet of Fire, but I think he did a really good job. Like I've seen so many people like just do his whole entire scene on TikTok, just reiterate every single word for word, and it's so good. Like the way that he portrayed that character, I feel like he did.
Do you want to know a fun fact, Dion?
Go on,
What's
do.
That?
The tongue flick that David Tennant does as Mad-Eye Moody was completely improvised by him.
Oh,
it actually isn't in the script.
Of course it is. Fucking love that guy. Mind my language though.
Yeah, wow. All right, we're going to leave it there. We're going to have a little bit of a break. We're going to throw it over to Fizzman for the last trivia. I hope he made it. Yes. I'm really nervous that he didn't make it. I hope he got his feast because he was really excited for that. So we're going to have a little bit of a break. These trivia questions this week are like, bam, really quick. So if you need to go to the bathroom, if you need to do whatever you need to do, you've only got a short amount of time to do it in. But here we go. The answers to the trivia questions right now.
Geekazoid.
I'm so full. That was such a good feast. Oh, how did you guys go with the answers? Did you think you got them all? Well, here they are. Okay, question 1. On what date do students leave to go to Hogwarts? The answer is September 1st. Okay, question 2. At what time does the Hogwarts Express leave from King's Cross Station? The answer is 11 a.m. And then our final question, who is known as the keeper of keys and grounds at Hogwarts? The answer is Hagrid or Rubius Hagrid? Let us know how you did in the comments, and make sure to check out my socials at Captain Fizman. Also make sure to follow Geekazode across all their socials. Anyways, back to you guys in the studio.
Geekazoid.
How'd you go with those ones, Dion? Did you get them right?
Or the first two, the third one, it didn't come to me straight away, but it was like in the back of my mind. I should have thought Hagrid straight away. It's so obvious, but yeah.
I didn't know about until you told me this week, because I obviously filmed that video for Fizzman the other day, and I didn't realize that Hogwarts left at that time at 11 a.m. and I was surprised to really find out about that one. Wow, that is. It's really cool. And Fizzman, I'd just like to say thank you again for all your contribution, for all the trivia questions that you do, and also editing them down for our socials as well. We really do appreciate you spending the time, because I know that they're not easy to, obviously come up with the questions, and also just editing them and getting them ready to post online. So no, we really do appreciate it. And I was laughing watching that, because I didn't watch this when you sent it to me. I just quickly dropped it in, and the wind, when it blew your grove, I didn't realize that actually happened at the end of the question. But that's fine. It was magic. Yeah, that's great.
Exactly.
That was really, really good. Let us know in the comments below how you went with those questions, and definitely check out our Instagram accounts for all the other trivia questions that we drop during the week. All right, Mr. Fizzman, I know that you've chimed in on all the other ones, but you are the Kevin Feige of the Wizarding World. So
before we kick it off to my film, I want to ask you guys a question.
Okay.
What do you think is the greatest measure of how good a film is, in your own opinion?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. And I think my answer varies depending on the franchise.
There's so many variables to that,
Or just like a movie in general.
I guess it has to be a coherent story. And I think with all these franchises that have multiple films, they've got on their side history of characters and establishing the characters. And I think what they did really well with the Harry Potter series, you grew up with the actors and actresses and all that sort of stuff. And they were so lucky that they didn't have to recast anyone like Hermione. They were very lucky that they didn't have to recast it, because I think that would be very jarring. I know that they had to do that with Dumbledore, but obviously, the situation that they had to go that route, unfortunately, yeah. But I don't. Why, Fizzman? Do you have an answer to this? And then, like I said, I guess it varies. It varies in regards to the property. But Fizzman, you're gonna tell us what our answers should be. So what is the answer?
So, how Hollywood probably measures greatest film is based on award nominations and so Oscars and all that stuff.
Okay.
The Harry Potter films have been nominated 12 times. They've never won, but they've been nominated 12 times at the Oscars. Philosophers had 3 nominations in Best Art Direction, Costume Design, and Best Original Score. Prisoner of Azkaban had 2 in Visual Effects and Original Score. Goblet of Fire had 1 in Best Art Direction. Half-Blood Prince, as a shout-out to Tay, had Best Cinematography. Order of the Phoenix didn't have one. Sorry, Dion. Deathly Hallows Part 1 had Best Art Direction and Best Visual Effects. And Deathly Hallows Part 2 had 3 with Best Art Direction, Best Makeup, and Best Visual Effects. So, out of our choices, my selection for the best Harry Potter film in terms of storyline and how it is perceived by everyone is Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Oh,
like I said, I came with the facts.
How
I came with the
funny.
facts.
I also taken this.
So, in terms of box office earnings, Prisoner of Azkaban is actually the lowest out of the 8 films. It made $789,592,708 at the worldwide box office, and 249 $1,757,726 at the domestic. In its opening weekend, it made $93,687,367, and that was released in 2004. Order of the Phoenix at opening weekend made $77,108, $108 and $414. Domestic was $292,137,260, and worldwide was $939,619,849. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 on opening weekend at a production budget of $125 million. Opening weekend, it was $169,189,427. Domestic box office was $381,193,157, and worldwide box office was $1,316,355,322.
5 minutes later.
So out of the entire franchise, Deathly Hallows Part 2 is the most successful. Now, let's get on to the building of the storylines and everything. So, they made the choice of, and actually they had planned to make Goblet of Fire onwards, 2-part films, but unfortunately they didn't, so they did it with Deathly Hallows. They did Part 1 and Part 2. Part 2 is where we get like the bulk of the book, because it focuses on the demise of Voldemort. It also focuses on the Battle of Hogwarts. May 2nd is known as Battle of Hogwarts Day. It's also International Harry Potter Day as well, because that is when the Battle of Hogwarts became. It is the wrap-up of the entire franchise. We get a look at the final moments between Lily Evans or Lily Potter and Harry as a baby. We finally find out why Harry can talk to snakes and why he's able to peer into Voldemort's mind, as we found out in Order of the Phoenix. So it ties certain things together. I did mention Helena Bonham Carter at the beginning. So if you remember back when we were discussing the greatest trilogy, I said Steve Rogers trilogy, and I mentioned about Chris Evans mimicking Loki, and then Tom Hiddleston mimicking Chris Evans. Well, how it happened, because if you are familiar, Hermione disguises herself as Bellatrix Strange. So how it worked is that pretty much it was Emma Watson acted the scene out, and then Helena Bonham Carter mimicked Emma Watson as Bellatrix Strange. So it's essentially Helena Bonham Carter playing Emma Watson, who is playing Bellatrix Strange. We also get a closer look, a deeper look at Gringotts. We see the demise of Severus Snape as well. We also adds another layer to Severus Snape as a film character. We also get the greatest line in the entire film franchise, said by Molly Weasley, as she basically explodes Bellatrix Strange. It's like, "Not my daughter, you bitch." Sorry for everyone watching. We also get Neville Longbottom as like the greatest Gryffindor ever. We see the fake out between Harry. Narcissa Malfoy actually shows an entirely new, turns a new leaf because she's more worried about her son. In terms of a recast, well, it wasn't a recast, but it was more so. So if you saw, Blaise Zabini takes the role of Crabbe. So you had Lewis, I think Cardmore, I believe, and Cordell. And you had Josh Herdman and Tom Felton playing the 3 Slytherin trio. The reason why is that Jamie Waylett, who played Crabbe, actually was charged for possession of marijuana. So that is why they took him out of the film, and that's why we have the replacement. If you didn't know that. We also have many deaths. We also have many deaths, which, I mean, it is a battle, but it's just... And also, you know how we see the snap and everyone being disintegrated? Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows is the first time we actually see that effect in film, because it is what has happened to Voldemort.
That's so true. Yeah, that's literally how he disintegrated. Tons and ashes.
I'm going to regret saying this, but I would love to watch all the Harry Potter films with you, Fizzman. Only because, like, obviously, like, I've seen them and I know what's going to happen, but just all the little, like, bits and
To get that
pieces.
insight, yeah, all the Easter eggs and yeah.
Fizzman should have his own personal commentary track on like a re-release or something like that. Maybe we can organize Warner Brothers to be like, this is the Fizzman commentary track, and it's just Fizzman going, yeah. And this,
He was
and you can
born for that role.
yeah. Sorry, Fizzman, keep going with your I mean, I think you've won the argument, but you can keep like
I'm
just
pretty,
bury us.
I'm pretty done. I've like gone
Just
through
bury
everything
us.
I need to go through. Yeah,
Look.
it's just this is why I think it's the greatest out of the entire trilogy. Yes, it may not be as faithful to the books as other ones. Like there are certain scenes that they've changed around, but in terms of wrap up of storyline and a culmination and how it finishes an entire series, like as you see, we see all three Marauders. We don't count Peter Pettigrew because he wasn't part of that. And yeah, we actually see them in the Forbidden Forest. We also see the joining of the Deathly Hallows, which are known to be like the three most powerful objects ever. We also get a greater look as to why Severus Snape is the way he is. We saw young Lily and we saw a young Petunia in the flashback during the pensive. Like there are so many different things that just wraps up and ties the entire franchise together.
It is very interesting, and I know that you've made a great argument as to why this is the greatest film. And I have no doubt. I remember going to the cinemas to watch this, and I was like blown away by how good this film was, how it wrapped it up. Were you cool when the scene where it's all white and Harry's there and
At King's Cross Station in the afterlife, where
there you go.
It's the part where between life and death.
Yes. Were you cool with how they portrayed that scene?
I was fine with it. My issue with, because I do have issues with the film for being not faithful to the books.
Okay.
The issue with the final battle between Harry and Voldemort, it should have, the way that it was portrayed in the book is that after all of this, Voldemort is merely just a man. Like, take away his magic, take away everything. He's still like a human. He's not immortal like he thinks he is. So the way he dies in the books, he literally just collapses. He doesn't disintegrate or anything. He literally does. He just collapses, and essentially we see him just a man. He isn't this big threat that we all saw. Which,
but maybe,
to be honest, he really isn't. Like, yes, I wouldn't say he's the most powerful wizard, because like he uses magic selfishly, and he actually doesn't fully grasp the whole power of magic. We get a deeper look into why certain things happen. Like, for example, the blood sacrifice that Lily did to save Harry. And in the book, we actually see that redone by Harry when he basically sacrifices his life to save everyone else, and it essentially protects everyone else. So usually in the films, we see everyone else risking their life for Harry. In the Harry Potter and Deathly Hallows book, we see Harry return that favor, and he basically risks his life and sacrifices himself for the sake and the protection of others.
Just putting it out there, you said that Voldemort disintegrated. Maybe Thanos was the one to get rid of Voldemort. Did you think of that?
Well, you know what? I wouldn't put it past Thanos to do that.
Wow.
But timeline-wise, it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, well,
I was gonna say like Harry kind of took that Avada Kedavra like a champion when Voldemort just like hit him with that, and then he went into obviously King's Cross Station and saw Dumbledore there. So he kind of did, sacrifice himself also in the movie as well, which is kind of like a selfless thing to do. But I think 100% we have to agree with Fizzman here. It definitely is the end game of the Harry Potter franchise, and like easily box office wise, just story wise, wrapping the whole film up, the cinematography, the character development, everything was beautiful in that film. It was I had so much I could watch that film so many times and not get bored. It has that glory to Harry Potter.
Well, this is where the argument happens. Can you just show that movie to somebody that has never ever seen a Harry Potter film before?
No. It won't have the same effect.
It won't have the same effect.
That's it. So,
Like if you showed any one of the films that we've shown,
Uh-huh.
it wouldn't have the same effect. It
That's
wouldn't
true.
give the entire story.
that is true. So, I mean, every time I look at a film, I always go, especially when it's a part of a franchise, I'm like, if I was just to show that one, because like, and don't get me wrong, Deathly Hallows is a great wrap up of the franchise, which is unreal. And I want to talk to you about the very, very final scene when they've got their kids and stuff like that. But you can almost say like the film, the movie, the very last one wasn't successful just by itself. It was successful because of everything that preceded it as well. So
100%.
It's the same. It's the same with Endgame. It's the same
100%.
with Justice League. It's like all
Yeah.
of these Endgame type films.
Yep.
You can't
Agree.
you can't
Have
consider them
without
to be
the greatest
you can't
film.
consider them to be the greatest films ever because they're
But you
part
can
of this
consider it.
overarching story.
You can consider it as the greatest saga or franchise of all time. And when you're definitely thinking about the greatest franchise ever, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, MCU, Harry Potter for sure. And everyone loves it. Like my grandmother, she is 94. I remember she read the books. She loves reading. I remember when we went to see I think the first three. I went to see my grandmother. This is the same grandmother that we went to see the Batman in March. She was like, "Can we go see that Batman movie?" I'm like, "Really?" She
That
loves
is
crime.
so cool.
Yeah, she loves crime. I went to see Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 with her. I remember taking my grandmother to that. She loves
Your
all that sort of
grandma's-
stuff. Oh,
It's super cool, dude.
yes.
94,
yeah.
did you say? 94?
She's not. Oh, actually, maybe not that old, but maybe 92. She's 92. Oh, she's gonna kill me now. Maybe not 94. My grandfather is 94. That's on my dad's side. Oh, he was probably 95 now. His birthday's coming up. And my nan, she's got to be, maybe she's 91, 92, 91. She's 91. I just put a couple of years on her. I apologize, Nan. Do not put a spell on me. But anyway, originally she was from Stonehenge. Do you know where Stonehenge is? Yeah, and it's very known for like their witches and wizards and all that sort of stuff, and it's got a very like rich history of like witchcraft and all that sort of stuff. And she used to say back in her day, she used to climb all over it with her friends and all that as kids. And now when you go there, it's all sectioned off. It's like you have to pay to go visit this sort of thing. So yeah, I think she is a bit of a witch herself. She says it herself, but anyway, we're gonna leave it there in regards to the talks of Harry Potter. Definitely chime in if you haven't done so already, or let us know on our socials what you think is the greatest Harry Potter film of all time. And then, before we move on, I just want to talk about that very last scene, Fizzman, in terms of the kids and the family and they've grown up and all that. How did you feel about? Was that a good way to end it?
I felt like it was a good way to end it. I would have preferred. This is more like a preference for me, where we see Harry, like I mean, in canon we know Hermione's back to finish her 7th year, so I would have loved to see that, like sort of seeing that those moments in time that we would miss, not like a huge 19 years later time gap. Like I would prefer to see like the passing of time, like seeing the children being born, of like those happy moments. Because after all that darkness, you kind of need that happy moments to be like, to kind of bring it full circle. You know what I wouldn't have liked?
Yeah.
Is if at the end of the series it flashes back to Harry being in the cupboard under the stairs, being like it was all a dream. That would have been such a cop out. It would have been a riot. Like even when Harry is standing on the ledge at Hogwarts, everyone is so terrified for his life because they're like, is he gonna jump? Like, is he literally
That's kind of
gonna?
like the same story as like the one you mentioned when it's just like everything's just a dream. It's the same thing as Ash Ketchum being in a coma the whole time and Pokemon doesn't exist. It's kind of like
Pikachu was never a real thing. It was just a pain medication. Well, look, I think what they tried to do with the very last scene was show, I guess, things are cool with Draco and also Harry and the whole gang and how they ended up, as in Hermione and Ron and Ginny and Harry and all that. I think that was really cool to see, Like, I know what you mean, Fizzman. You sort of wanted like a Lord of the Rings ending where you followed everyone and you see how they finished up and all that sort of stuff. But I mean, the movie was massive enough. Like, they had to split it in 2 parts and 2 movies. Like, that's just nuts. I really want to watch.
Know
I have 2 questions for you, Fizz. By the way, I have 2 questions before I forget.
I'll give. Yeah, D, you go first.
I was just gonna say, I already forgot one of the questions, but the one of them was, will we ever see a Harry Potter 9? Sorry, I know it's a cursed child technically, but will we ever see kind of a continuation of the Harry Potter series?
They are trying to make that happen. Daniel Radcliffe has said he will only return if the story is right, and it's the same with Ripper and Emma. But I feel like a lot of it is because they've been very outspoken against the author.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So it's gonna take a lot in order to bring that. Like, they want to make a cursed child film. They actually want to do that, but it's gonna take a lot.
It would be cool to be like a 20 years later type of thing, like just like they did with the end of Deathly Hallows Part 2. You know, seeing them older and having
19
that
years later.
19 was it? Sorry, my bad.
19.
Come on, D. You can't make mistakes like that around Fizzman.
Yeah, I cannot.
Actually, fun fact with that, the epilogue. So they actually had planned for Dudley to be at platform 9 3/4.
Wow.
That was my second question. By the
Because
way.
they were going to
Dudley.
have Dudley have a magical child to show that Petunia's ancestry
Has
wasn't
the blood.
just Muggles. There was actually that spark of magic. Or
How
yeah,
interesting.
so it's actually one of my favorite headcanons on the internet because it's Daisy Dursley, and essentially she brings the technology of the Muggle world into Harry Potter. So because at Hogwarts, when you use anything electronic, it doesn't work. It goes haywire because of all the magic around it. Like, if you were a Muggle looking at Hogwarts, you wouldn't see the castle. You literally would see warning, don't go ahead. Like, it's essentially like a bomb site. You wouldn't see that. So
Wow.
if you remember in Crimes of Grindelwald,
Yep.
when they go to Hogwarts and you see Jacob looking at Hogwarts, like he has this weird look on his face. It is because of that, because he doesn't actually see Hogwarts castle. He's literally seeing a wreckage. He's like, so he's like wondering, he's like, why is everyone so mesmerized? Or why is like what's so great about just this wreckage?
Wow. How interesting.
Yeah.
I'm
so
assuming that Harry Potter is set in modern time because it's like there was cars in Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Harry Potter is set in the 90s.
In the 90s. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
Because that's when the books were released, right?
Yeah, it's also the explanation of at the time. So anyone born between the years of 1995 and onwards, that's why we didn't get a Hogwarts letter, because Voldemort had started to destroy the ministry records of all Muggle-born witches and wizards. So it is the explanation as to why someone like me didn't get our Hogwarts letter, because at that time, all those records were starting to be destroyed by Voldemort and his Death Eaters.
Isn't it crazy how one person came up with all of this? And
Right? Yeah, that's
but is it
mind-blowing.
one person, Fizzman, or is
So,
it like a team?
J.K. Rowling took inspiration from other things. Like Neil Gaiman has a series very similar to Harry Potter, so it was taking inspiration from this. She also would have taken inspiration from The Lord of the Rings. So like all of these fantasy franchises that existed before Harry Potter were like inspiration for certain things.
It's quite insane though, about how intricate each character she's made has so much of a story. There's about over 100 characters probably in Harry Potter, and she's made such a intricate story, like attention to detail for every single character, and it's insane.
I mean, I would
how...
name them all, but I think we'd be here for about
And speaking of that, we are going to have.
Yeah,
to
we're
cut
about
this one short.
we're kind of over over an hour at the moment.
But that's fine. Like I've learned a lot, and I hope that everybody else listening has learned a lot as well. I'd like to thank Dion for tuning in and helping us out. We're trying to figure out the greatest Harry Potter movie of all time. Fizzman, I'd like to thank you for putting us in our place and telling us what is the greatest Harry Potter film of all time. And I was just here chiming in as well. But guys, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone that are supporting us over Geekazoid, over our socials, and tuning in live or downloading the podcast. We really do appreciate it. It is time to give back to you guys, and we're going to be having a couple of giveaways over the next couple of weeks as well. So definitely check out our socials about that. We're going to be talking about some Rick and Morty stuff next week as well. And Tay came up for an event here in Sydney, and we've got some Rick and Morty's goodies to give out next week as well. Dion, while you're in Melbourne, definitely check out The Cursed Child if you haven't done so already. It is
on my list, yes.
It is
I'm
phenomenal.
So
and I know, Fizzman, you're probably going to check it out when you're down in PAX, probably. Am I right?
I've already checked it out.
You've already seen it?
I've already seen part 1 and part 2. I saw it when it was 2 parts. I haven't seen it when it's like the 1-parter, but I saw it when it was 2 parts.
Oh, okay.
You already see? I didn't know that. Well, there you go. The more you
Sorry,
know
in
with Captain
December.
Fizzman. You probably saw it. You were like, no, I was there. I was in the crowd, and I was giving them directions on like, how
I just gonna say I understand why it's specifically in Melbourne, because the staging and everything that
is
is
designed.
It would be very complicated for them to take it all around Australia.
Yeah, like Dion, the theater is kitted out to like the whole theater is part of the performance. So there's
the
no
whole
way
entire thing.
the whole
Wow.
entire thing, and without giving anything away, like it is like an it is definitely worth going if whether you don't like theater or not. It's
I love theater. I love musicals. I love all of that stuff. So I'm
telling you
so
now,
excited.
when Natasha and I were invited to go see the redo where they just made it into one show, I wish I saw part 1 and part 2 because I'm just curious to see how it played out. But this was a phenomenal show, and I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. I would love to see it turn into a movie because I just like to see how people interpret things. But anyway,
speaking of that, there's
Fizz man,
actually
you got 1
plans
minute.
to make a pro shot of it, which
1
means
minute.
like a professionally recorded version of the play itself.
Sort of like a Hamilton version, like what we saw. That would be cool. I wouldn't mind
They
seeing
want to
that.
do that if they can't get a Cursed Child movie.
Oh, how interesting. All right, we're going to leave it there. Dion, can you tell us where can we find you on your socials?
Before I tell you guys where you can find me on my socials, I just want to pick off of what Jay was saying. Thanks so much for the support, guys. It means the world to us. You know, we're just trying to spread our love for pop culture here. Update you guys on the latest news of pop culture today. So thanks so much. You know, you can find this on Geekazoid, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, and you can find myself, Kingswell, on TikTok with 2 Zs, and on Instagram it's Kingswell with 1 Z and 2 I's. But yeah, thanks so much for the support, guys, and we appreciate you heaps. Bless up.
Fizzman, where can we find you on your socials, buddy?
You can find me everywhere at Captain Fizzman. All handles are the same across all social media platforms. Be Real, Vero, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr. I think I've been everything I said. YouTube, TikTok. Yep, everywhere.
Everywhere. And if you guys want to follow me on my socials, it's at JRod_HD on TikTok, Instagram. And you can also follow me at Jaden Rodriguez on YouTube and Facebook as well. Guys, thank you so much for geeking out this week. Fizzman, do you want to sign us off?
Yes. Thank you everyone for tuning in to this week's episode of Geekazoid. Make sure to check out all our socials for updates on what we are doing at any time when we're checking out the latest geeky news. And always remember, make sure to check out Jaden and Dion and also Tay as well.
Yes,
Can't
Tay
forget
as well.
about Tay.
Cannot forget about
at Miss
our
Marvel
co-host.
Oz or Miss Marvel Oz. And yeah, other than that, keep geeking out.
Keep geeking out. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Take care.